going to debut a new segment, which I would like to call "I Have a Question," which we know our resident Canadians fan here. He will provide an in-depth answer here. It's not something we're going to do every week, but as I think of random things that I want to ask a Canadians fan, I'm going to do it. So, question for today going to be: is Saku Koivu number retire worthy for a franchise that has had the history it has? Does he deserve it?
Man, that is like Saku did a lot of things for Montreal, and outside of his battle with cancer and everything like that, and the leader that he was, I don't think fans appreciated him as much when he was here. It took him leaving and then everything going on to kind of be like, hey, this guy was a great captain. Now, I'm going to say no. I'll answer the question this way. And the reason is because if you look at the history and the banners that are up there, those are some of the, not just Montreal Canadiens legends, but hockey legends in itself. And I don't have Saku as a Hall of Famer in my book, at least not today. And I don't know if it'll garner any of that, moving forward. So to me, if you can't get into the Hockey Hall of Fame, it's extremely hard then to get your number retired for the Montreal Canadiens specifically. He is a fantastic player. His son was drafted in the 3rd round, and people love Saku now more than ever. And there were some rough years there, and it was through no fault of his own. He is as much a Montrealer, figuring it out. But I can't put him in the rafters when you look up at some of the names that are there and say, yeah, he has earned it. I can't put him there. But I mean, I love Saku and everything that he does. And again, he didn't get the credit. You don't know what you have until it's gone. And then you realize, you're like, man, this guy went to bat.
Like you said, it was a little bit of a, not to say a forgotten error for the Canadians, but maybe a little bit of an overlooked error where he was a prominent player. And normally I think number retirements are perfect for, you're not Hall of Fame worthy, but you meant that much to the franchise. We got to honor you somehow. But then there are franchises that are exceptions to the rule. Yankees being one of them in baseball, because they have so many retired numbers. And you have so many, like you said, not just franchise greats, but greats of the game. I understand that's a Yankee bias, but you can't deny that they have a lot of retired numbers, and a lot of those guys deserve it. You have to start to be a little more selective because A, to have options of numbers people wear. B, it does that banner deserve to hang alongside some of those other ones? So I agree. I think if he was, Saku Koivu was on probably about, we'll say 28 other franchises, yeah, I would say so, but not with the Canadiens. Now, we have our first fan-submitted question for the I Have a Question segment. Chris, how do you see the Montreal goaltending situation in March? Which that reaction right there tells you everything you need to know.
Listen. This team won't learn. Some teams, the Montreal Canadiens have a ton of players on their lineup right now. Just they have a ton of bodies that are hurt, right? They have 4 forwards that are hurt that you can consider regulars. When those guys are healthy, there are some choices that need to be made in the lineup. Defensively, I think the 7 guys you see are going to stick there. The goaltending has to be settled. It has to be figured out. In my mind, the easy route is to send Jacob Fowler back to the AHL, let him go on a run there with the Montreal Canadiens, AHL roster. They're doing a good job. They can go back to the playoffs. He can get another run. Yes, even if the Montreal Canadiens are destined to, be in a playoff spot come end of the season, Montembeault has been better since being recalled. He went down. He had a conditioning stint. It did not go well, but he's come back and he looks better. He looks better. Some people are arguing that you send Jakub Dobes down because he has struggled the most out of the 3 since Montembeault's come back. But at the same time, I don't want Fowler sitting here. So it's either you play him or you send him to the American Hockey League where he can play a lot. But the 3-headed monster, this 3-headed rotation has to end. There are not many successful hockey teams that run 3 goalies. I I can't name many of them. You have to find a solution to this. In my mind, it's going to be Samuel Montembeault and Jakub Dobes, who are going to do as much as they can to tend the goal until one of them figures it out, whoever it is. And if there's a time split there, it's fine. But right now, both goalies play about once a week. And that's just not enough. It's not enough.
Do you see any move in the crease for the deadline?
I can't imagine the Montreal Canadiens moving Samuel Montembeault, just because then it leaves you with basically 2 rookie goalies. That's
maybe bringing another one in, maybe making a shakeup in the crease.
No, there's no point, because you signed Capo Caco. Like, he's in the AHL, and that's like his role is to hold a spot there, right? And again, if you did move Montembeault and sent, I don't know what, Primo down, sorry, not Primo down, Fowler down. Like, there's, it doesn't sound like they're going to move him. As much as I would love for them to move Samuel Montembeault, because I don't think he's a starter. I think he's done well, but I don't think he's a long-term starter here. And I don't think he's a starting goalie overall. But I get this in terms of fantasy. You want to have somebody who's going to roll with it. There are lots of teams that are doing the kind of that 50-50 split, right? And it's worked for them, right? A lot of teams doing it. Think of the Minnesota Wild. It's one of those things that you have to live with. But from a fantasy perspective, I don't want the third goalie there. Pick one and then send them somewhere. And the idea is either it's Fowler or you're moving somebody, and I don't know who it is.
I'll say the only team where the 3-headed goalie monster actually is not detrimental is Carolina, and that's a unique situation when Freddie Anderson's healthy, because you know how fragile he is, and when Kochetkov is healthy, and you got Bussy coming up here. But I mean, it appears to be his crease moving forward anyway. But like a situation like that is the only time where I'm like, all right, maybe a 3-headed monster makes sense. But outside of that,
it's
only 2 nets
practice. It's back-to-back years of 3-headed monsterness. Jacob Fowler has earned his spot here. He has earned his NHL paycheck, and he is very calm, cool, and collected. But he is still a rookie goalie, and it takes time in that position to just, work on your craft, right? And slowly but surely, teams are going to have that book on him, and they're going to figure out what, where his weaknesses are, because everybody does film, everybody does research. They'll figure out that glove side, between the pad kind of thing is where a lot of the goals kind of go in. But again, it is, if your goal is to win a Stanley Cup or at least make it out of the first round, having rookie goalies there is tough, is very tough. So that's why I don't think they move Montembeault. I think they're going to try to split 50-50 starts between him and Dobes. And again, you could do a 50-50 split with Fowler, but I want him to play as much hockey as possible. So whether it's in the AHL or in the NHL, I want him to see the bulk of the starts, because he's the guy of the future. Let him play.
There we go. That's how we see the Canadiens goaltending situation shaking out here as we, again, not that far away from the Olympic break.